Look at Steve Ulrich.
They've played against each other 3 times. Becker won the only time that they played indoors, and the last time that they played was last year at the Japan Open. Nobody beats Chang in Asia.
He has the second best record this year indoors, though, coming in here, which I find surprising. The man with the best record, well, that's the guy he's playing against.
You know, Michael Chang has had to really complete his game because of his size or lack of size, but he has done a terrific job. He's got a racket that's an inch longer, and he has used that racket to become a server now of some note as well, and who'd have ever thought that would have happened?
Yeah, he picks up some cheap points now, some free points on serve. If you get that big serve in and it doesn't come back, then it certainly helps, particularly over a 5-set match as this is.
This Frankfurt final between an American and a European player for the 4th year in a row. As you look at it again, Becker took out Courier in '92, Steve beat Sampras in '93, and then Sampras last year beat Becker in the final.
Boy, 2 tremendous down-the-line backhands from Boris Becker. He says, I have always had that shot, but now I don't have to go for it right away. I'm moving so well that I can play a couple of backhands before I get the one I want to win the point with. Again, he's been very, very happy with and satisfied with all the work he's done and his fitness level that it's showing up now in the matches.
Very strong forearms from Becker, and when he plays against the big servers, he's just able to muscle that return of serve. He won't have to do that much, that type of returning today, because it's a different type of player he's coming up against as Michael Chang. Instead, Pete Sampras to be serving volleying. You're not going to find Chang do that very often. But I'll guarantee he mixes it up and does come in occasionally.
Right side back.
Well, I thought Chang started out a little nervously and playing a little more defensively after the way that he came out firing on all cylinders, and then some yesterday against Sampras. But it's 30-all now. He's got back even.
It's a good play from Chang, that one. He doesn't really have to hit that and flatten it out because of the grip that Becker has on his slice backhand. He just floats that. And if Chang can get that with a lot of heavy topspin onto that court, as you see his wife Barbara there, then that ball's going to jump up around shoulder height for Becker, and that makes it a little more difficult for him.
4 points in a row for Chang, and he wins the first game after being down love 30. Chang versus Becker for the World Championship here in Frankfurt. You're watching the year-end championship here in Frankfurt. The year-end tennis started down under at the Australian Open in Melbourne, and tennis's 2 top players, Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi, played in the final. For Agassi, it was a great start to 1995. A Grand Slam win, his 2nd consecutive. He had beaten Michael Stich in the US Open, and a win over Sampras in Australia. Agassi, champion of the '95 Australian Open. Becker to serve his first serve game of the match.
It's going to be interesting to see how many service returns Chang can get back off that first delivery to that forehand volley. I don't like Becker's technique on the forehand volley. He snaps at it. He hits a lot of good forehand volleys. He is an excellent volleyer. You say you don't like it, but he is a good volleyer. But I think that's a vulnerable spot that Chang can get to. It's all relative as you watch Boris Becker play this overhead, gets sideways, racket in behind the shoulder blades, elbow up, good balance as he swings through, gets the winner. Becker's had terrific rhythm on the serve this week. As the week wore on, it got better and better. And he had everybody on the edge of their seat on a few occasions when he needed big serves against Ferreira. And he came up with them.
And against Kafelnikov when he really needed them.
Yep.
He had to take down Yevgeny Kafelnikov in the last match of the round robin. He had to beat him in straight sets to make the weekend. And he did.
Michael Chang has had a good indoor year. In fact, Becker has as well. You can see they head the lists there. Chang, for example, and San Jose in the final lost to Andre Agassi, and the final also at the Super Series in Seiko. That was an indoor event in Tokyo. He beat Mark Philippoussis. They've both had good indoor records. In fact, they lead the indoor season.
.206, that's 128 miles an hour. Gives him a game point.
Another good look at that from the overhead camera, just the weight distribution, how he leans on that serve.
Biggest serve of the tournament so far for Boris Becker.
Very patient point from Chang there, and I think this is where he has his best chance if he can keep Becker in a rally. If Becker wants to rally with him from the baseline, Chang gets time to set this one up. His forehand has been a very aggressive shot and a very successful shot for him at this World Championship event.
One ace and now one double fault for Boris Becker in his first service game. Again, he says, when I hit second serves and they're aces or double faults, it's all part of my character. I have to hit like that.
Break point.
His attitude is even a double fault is a message to his opponent that he's going to attack no matter what.
Super shot from Becker, out of reach for most players. Chang, as quick as he is, was able to get to that one, but too late.
Mike De Palma there, who is Becker's hitting coach. Becker's had a lot of coaches over the years. Started off with Gunter Bosch, Australia's Bobby Brett, and now looks after Ivan Izovic, Thomas Schmidt. And he went to Nick Bollettieri and then parted ways with Bollettieri. Nicky Pilic was there for a while. And now Mike De Palma travels with him as his hitting partner.
And actually, finally, after 4.5 years, Bob Brett has left Goran Ivanisevic. We'll see how Ivanisevic does now. Nicely
That is
done.
smart.
It's so. It's what's interesting. That is Boris Becker's parents watching on.
Carl is his dad.
Good return here. This is the one I'm talking about, to the forehand side. And this is a smart play here, because tough one to roll that back down the line. Becker, that's where Becker was looking, and right at the last moment, watch this super slow-mo camera. Watch the wrist here. Drops the head way down, and then look at that. Rolls the wrist right over. The ball goes across in front of Becker.
Let call on the serve. Becker hesitates, but Chang knew it all along. Let's look at it again.
You see, you may notice there's no let judge. That's because it's done electronically with a sensor which is taped right to the net.
Yeah, pretty much impossible for that to make mistakes.
The electronic sensor is calling that serve line as well, the Cyclops machine, and it called that one long. Game point. That's good. And that's a breaker serve for Michael Chang.
Boy, what a smart